So if you're unvaccinated and you're celebrating right now, you've missed the whole point as to why you didn't get vaccinated in the first place. Just because there's been a Senate inquiry or whatever official name it's been given, where it sounds serious and it sounds official, where Dr. Anthony Fauci, who we wouldn't even really know if he's a real doctor or not, has been put in front a panel of very highly paid actors, otherwise known as senators, filled with a room of some of the most deceptive, lying scum on the planet, i.e. the media. And then you've got Dr. Fauci himself, who's probably not even human. Because how could any human sit there in front of that many people and testify about the illegitimacy of the medicine that was administered to hundreds of millions of people just a few years ago? So I just want to touch on this because I've seen a lot of celebrations and my heart goes out to, and I'm not trying to be different here, I'm not trying to be like, oh God, he's such a savior, but my heart really goes out to the people that got vaccinated, because they are experiencing in the last few weeks another humiliation ritual. This is what the controllers love to do. They love to humiliate and play games and gaslight and lie and manipulate to the populace there. I guess they're ever, conforming and loyal populace. So they're going through a huge humiliation ritual because they thought that they were doing the right thing many years ago. And some of these people really had no choice. You may be one of these people that had a family and you were the only income earner in that family. And you were given this ultimatum, you were blackmailed basically by some of the cruelest, most awful people on this planet to take a toxic concoction of God knows what really, to maintain your livelihood so that you could provide for your family. Or you may have been a nurse, and even though there are some nurses out there that are just in it for the money and they're awful, there are a lot of nurses out there that actually enjoy their jobs and they didn't want to stop caring for people, and they believed in the hype, they believed in the legitimacy of this virus. So just a word for the unvaccinated. If you're celebrating, you're not really a true person of integrity and truth, because what you should be doing right now is keeping a low profile and essentially just having empathy for the people that went through that particular process and that particular procedure. The second thing I want to discuss today is this concept of the 3 days of darkness. Now, unfortunately, due to YouTube copyright permissions, I can't clip or post the videos that I'm referring to, but a very basic search of 3 days of darkness, or you may have already seen some of the prophetic videos that are getting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views about certain events happening over 3 days. Now, by the time this video is uploaded, I'm sure nothing would have actually happened, because this is how it goes down each time, and I'll explain why a little later on. But firstly, I'd like to address some of the claims that I've seen from some of these prophetic people who are nothing but just charlatans and deceivers working for the darkness, even though they think they might be working for the light. So the first one is that you are to board up your windows, so cover your windows, lock your doors, and don't answer your door, don't even look outside. And the reason being is because demons are going to be impersonating your family members and going to try and get you to open the door, and then they're going to take your soul and because the gates of hell have been opened for 3 days. All right, there's so much to say about this and so much to unpack, but let me try and keep it as succinct as possible. The gates of hell are already open. This planet is completely overrun and riddled with stuff from what you could describe as hell. Demonic spirits. We're in a spiritual battle, a spiritual war. So we're not out there with guns, we're not getting shot, we're not getting bullets to the head. We're getting attacked in different ways, more of an energetic and a frequency war. So this concept that demons are going to impersonate your family members, please understand that demons are already infiltrating the minds of your family members and probably have been for quite some time. They're infiltrating the minds of friends of yours, co-workers, pretty much anybody that you interact with in the public domain at any point in time. They're very clever, they're very cunning, and this is not a discussion about schizophrenia, this is a discussion about the spiritual warfare, because they have the ability to infiltrate your mind and plant thoughts, beliefs, suggestions that you can take as gospel or that you can accept as truth. And they can manipulate you and get you to do things, and you look back at what you just did and think, how did I just do that? Like, wasn't I thinking straight? And this is not a means for you to not take responsibility for your actions, but you do have to sometimes understand that there are nefarious spirits working on you, and at times you're not going to have the discernment, or you're not going to be in the right frequency. You're not going to be guarding those thoughts, guarding the body temple, and they're going to succeed, and they're going to make you do something that you didn't particularly want to do. Where I live in Cairns here recently, we've had an awful event where a young woman was involved in a head-on collision with a stolen car with a guy in his mid-30s. So after smashing into this vehicle and killing this woman instantly, somehow this man is able to get into another car, force that driver to start driving him across the other side of Cairns. Like, absolutely no accountability, no feeling, no remorse for what he's just done and what he's just caused. Just a goal in his mind. And this could be a female, this could be somebody that's white, black, yellow. It's got nothing to do with any of those features. This is just coming down to an individual. But the reality is that he was most likely under the influence of something very, very strong from a chemical perspective. And that just opens the doors to demons and their nefarious ways even more, on a greater scale. So it's happening all around us. It's being publicized in the media. It's no secret, but people fail to understand that the reason that it's all happening is because the darkness is trying its utmost at the moment to just squander any flickers, anybody resembling light, anybody standing for the truth, anybody pointing out a deception. They are doing their utmost to squash that and to distort what you're receiving from your Creator. The second thing in regards to this supposed 3 days of darkness is this concept that because there's going to be a solar eclipse or lunar eclipse, I can't remember which one it is, that this for some reason gives rise to a physical event. I don't want to get into the whole flat earth and whether the globe is round, but what I do know for absolute certainty is nobody on this planet knows what day it is today. There are various calendars. We've all been told that the calendar starts based around Jesus, which is probably unfortunately another psyop. And whether it's AD or BC, and there's a Gregorian calendar that says differently, and there's different forms of astrology. So even the astrologists who are out predicting all kinds of events to take place on the planet, but guys, no one has any idea what these eclipses actually are, what the sun is, what the moon is. We're taught what they are in certain places that I won't name at the moment, but it doesn't mean that it's true, and it doesn't mean that it's real. So please be careful with any of these people saying that because an eclipse is happening and this planet's lining up with that, but we don't even know what planets are really out there. Okay, Elon's up there roaming around on Mars apparently. Who knows, mate? Like, who knows where those photos are from? They could be from the US desert somewhere, out the back of his Tesla factory for all we know. We can't take this stuff as gospel. And the final point I'd like to touch on about these 3 days of darkness is what do you feel, or what does anybody feel when you hear this? You've got to stay inside for 3 days. The demons are going to be out there. The gates of hell are unlocked. Have food, have supplies, fast and talk to the Lord. It's just all fear. It's awful. And I used to give into this stuff. I used to be struggling for my words at the moment. It's been a bit of an exhausting time, but I used to be easily persuaded, a little bit naive, and I used to think these things were true, and they just ended up always being non-events. And how many false starts have we had over the last several years since COVID about this? There's going to be an electricity shutdown. Like, just think about the logistics that would have to take place for worldwide darkness. You'd have to have every state, federal, local council on board to turn off their main switches at exactly the same time, which unfortunately is, if that were to happen, would impact a whole range of people that are on life-saving equipment that, pump blood through their veins or keep their lungs filled with air. And I don't know if people are thinking about this. They're just wanting to blurt out these fear narratives and these really catchy YouTube titles that get people, I guess, in a state of fear and wanting to know what the answer is. Okay, so wrapping it up here, this channel is only ever going to be revealing the deceptions, not only in our society, but the deceptions about the alternative media who come out and share all of these fear-mongering predictions, which, even though people say, oh, I don't watch the news, I don't get involved in all of the chaos and the drama that's happening, well, the reality is they tune into a different form of news. And I did that for many years, and my life just went completely downhill because it gets you in a different way. So whether you tune into the mainstream media or whether you tune into an alternative media or an alternative range of experts such as clairvoyants or psychics or technical analysts that think that they know when certain investments are going to go because of what the gematria and Trump's birthday have as a collision, and then there's going to be an alignment with Venus and the Mercury retrograde. I would say it is just all, and I don't even know if these people know, but I would say it is just all fakery. It's just more misinformation intended to be something that people look at thinking that it's going to be truth because it's not the mainstream. Anyway, I'm just going to keep blurting on here if I don't wrap this up. So thanks for tuning in. Hope that you're keeping well. It's pretty simple what to do. Just look after your health. Do the best that you can for other people. Be conscious of the fact that hundreds of millions of people across the globe right now are going through a humiliation ritual, and it's not fun. It's a cold, cruel world sometimes, and if more of us can understand that and work with each other instead of against each other, or trying to subscribe to, oh, I'm in the unvaccinated camp, so I'm better than you, or I'm smarter than you, or I dodged a bullet there. You didn't dodge anything. In actual fact, we're all going to get some sort of a spiritual bullet in some way, shape or form. It's going to happen in your health, in your career, within your family, maybe all of those things all at the same time, if you're really lucky. Wouldn't wish that upon anybody, by the way. So yeah, keep your spirits high, remain well, and I'll see you in the next video.